Chapter 55. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Tianci, you have to know that although Qingyuan Gong is a third-rate skill, it can also greatly improve the speed of cultivation. Lin Zhentian looked at Lin Tianci and said, although he respected Lin Tianci's choice, he was still a little worried that Lin Tianci didn't know the importance of Qingyuan Gong, so he couldn't help but remind him, it's okay. I'm older than Lin Dong. As the elder brother, I naturally need to give way to my younger brother. Lin Tianci said with a smile, what's more, Lin Dong has just entered the earthly Yuan realm, and his foundation is much weaker than mine. If he can practice Qin Yuan Gong as soon as possible, it will also help him to consolidate his foundation. Tianci is becoming more and more like a leader now. Lin Zhentian saw that Lin Tianci had said so much, so he stopped trying to persuade him, but the original pride in his eyes was now filled with admiration. After all, Lin Tianci and Lin Dong were both his grandsons, and it was not good to be too partial to one of them. Now that the two of them could give way to each other in such a harmonious way, it was naturally the best. I have always been attracted by the talent of this child Tianci, but now I see that this child's character is not overshadowed by his talent for cultivation. Several elders of the Lin family also praised, Brother Tianci is indeed Brother Tianci. Lin Xia couldn't help but blush. Just now, he put himself in Lin Tianci's shoes and thought about it. If he and Lin Tianci were to exchange, he would have put it away the moment his grandfather took out the Qin Yuan Gong. He didn't care about Lin Dong or not. He would practice first, but now, not only in practice, even in other places, he still has a lot to learn from Brother Tianci. Everyone was impressed by the humility shown by Lin Tianci. As the object of humility, Lin Dong, at this moment, his heart was deeply moved. Lin Dong thought more in his heart, Brother Tianci was not only humble, but also very generous. He didn't worry at all that he would surpass him in practice after getting the Qin Yuan Gong first. I must master this Qin Yuan Gong as soon as possible so that Brother Tianci can practice it earlier. Lin Dong made up his mind. Speaking of which, I was so busy caring about Tianci before that, Donger's strength had also entered the earthly realm before the hunt. Lin Zhentian changed his tone, looked at Lin Dong, and said with a smile, today can be said to be a great day for our Lin family. Yes, today we not only got 4 fire python tiger cubs that can grow up to be comparable to the Tianyuan realm, but also got 2 profitable businesses from the Lei and Xie families. Lincoln also echoed this, Dad, our Lin family must celebrate well tonight, of course. Lin Zhentian nodded without comment. Speaking of which, Donger is a few years younger than Tianci, isn't he only 15 now? Someone said this. Everyone was stunned. Yes, their attention was attracted by Lin Tianci before, and they actually ignored Lin Dong's age for a while. 15 years old, in the earthly realm. This talent is a little worse than Lin Tianci, but who is Lin Tianci? The Lin family recognized him as a demon. But apart from Lin Tianci, Lin Dong's cultivation speed is probably unprecedented in the entire Qinyang town. Thinking about it this way, Donger's talent is also quite terrifying. Lincoln couldn't help but muttered, my Lin family has produced 2 geniuses at once. This is really too shocking. Lin Zhentian also took a deep breath at this point, that Lin Dong had not expected that his improvement in strength would attract so much attention. He immediately felt a little embarrassed, and then he coughed lightly, attracting everyone's attention. Speaking of which, I was able to enter the earthly origin realm this time, and Brother Tianci's efforts were indispensable. Everyone was stunned. How could this breakthrough to the earthly origin realm be related to Lin Tianci? Only to hear Lin Dong continue to speak, this is all thanks to the special training that Brother Tianci gave me before the hunt. Originally, my strength could only reach the 9th level of body tempering, but Brother Tianci trained me to the earthly realm, and my foundation is still very solid. In an instant, a series of fiery eyes gathered on Lin Tianci. Lin Tianci's face was normal. He naturally knew why Lin Dong's strength improved so quickly, because every time he trained, he would use the power of chaos to regulate Lin Dong's body. With the conditioning of the power of chaos, coupled with Lin Dong's own talent and hard work, the speed of cultivation naturally rose like a rocket. Tianci, didn't my Lin who always hang around you before? Just give him a good scolding. If he doesn't listen, tell uncle and I'll scold him for you. An elder who was even more majestic than Lin Hu said hurriedly at this moment, "Forget about your Lin Hu, he is big and strong, and he can't be trained well. It's better to let Tianci train my Lin Wei. Tianci, come to my house for dinner tonight. I'll cook a nice meal for you. You can also give some pointers to your useless sister." God-given, all the elders were excited, they could reach the Earth Origin realm after receiving special training from Lin Tianci. They missed this good thing once, how could they miss it a second time? What? You said special training is hard? As long as I can reach the Earth Origin realm, I will endure it no matter how hard it is. In an instant, Lin Tianci became the favorite of all the elders. Lin Tianci was a little dumbfounded. The enthusiasm of the elders was really a bit overwhelming for him. Lin Dong looked at Lin Tianci with a little apology. He didn't expect that his words would have such a big impact. In the end, it was Lin Zhentian who spoke up to help Lin Tianci out. "Stop, one by one, you are so old and still have no proper career. Don't you need to practice for Tianci? You teach your children every day. What kind of talent do your children have? How can they compare with Tianci?" After Lin Zhentian said this, the elders reluctantly left Lin Tianci. However, even so, they still mentioned to Lin Tianci that they hoped that Lin Tianci could teach his younger brothers and sisters when he was free. Lin Tianci naturally agreed to this without hesitation. "Lin Dong, you take the Qin Yuan Gong first." Lin Tianci pouted at Lin Dong angrily. Chapter 56. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sure enough, the moment Lin Dong got the Qin Yuan Gong, the voice of the system came out in Lin Tianci's mind. Lin Tianci's eyes lit up. The main reason why he asked Lin Dong to practice the Qin Yuan Gong first was naturally for the return of the system. And the skills returned by the system this time were also powerful. It was 1,000 times return. The Qin Emperor Changxing Ju, this name looks very powerful at first glance. As soon as the system finished speaking, the Qin Emperor Changxing Ju appeared directly in Lin Tianci's mind. Lin Tianci didn't care that everyone in the Lin family was there at the time, and immediately flipped through the Qin Emperor Changxing Ju. The more he read, the more surprised Lin Tianci felt, although the Qin Emperor Changxing Ju didn't mark the specific grade, but from Lin Tianci's current perspective, the grade of the Qin Emperor Changxing Ju is probably at least at the level of good fortune. The entire Qin Emperor's longevity secret is divided into 9 levels. When it is cultivated to perfection, a Qin Emperor will appear behind you when you perform it. You have a very strong vitality, and you can easily do things that sound incredible to ordinary people, such as regenerating a broken arm. When you cultivate to the peak of the 9th level, all the previous levels are integrated at this moment. Going to the next level, the whole body can be transformed into the body of the Qin Emperor. No matter how terrible the injury is, it can be healed. The effect of this Qingdi Changxing Ju is too abnormal. Lin Tianci took a breath of cold air. At the same time, he became more and more interested in practicing Qingdi Changxing Ju. After all, there are struggles in Tianxian continent from time to time. Even with Lin Tianci's strength, he can't be sure that he will not be injured in the future. After practicing Qingdi Changxing Ju, not only will his practice speed be improved by leaps and bounds, but even the safety of his entire body will be guaranteed. Tianci, Tianci. At this moment, Lincoln's somewhat doubtful voice sounded in Lin Tianci's ears. Lin Tianci finally reacted and quickly turned his head to look at Lincoln. What happened just now? Why do you seem so happy all of a sudden? Did you make another breakthrough in martial arts? Lincoln opened his mouth and asked with some suspicion. At the same time, everyone in the Lin family turned their heads, and even Lin Zhentian had some expectation on his face. Although Lin Tianci is in the earthly realm, if he has another epiphany in martial arts, the entire Lin family will not dare to underestimate him. After all, Lin Tianci can easily comprehend the 4th grade martial arts. If he has some insights and takes out a high-grade martial arts, the entire Lin family can benefit from it. Seeing the eager eyes of the crowd, Lin Tianci laughed dumbly. However, he did get a set of exercises just now, but if this set of exercises is taken out, the entire Lin family will not be happy, let alone be scared silly. What's more, this is a martial arts gifted by the system. Without a little preparation, Lin Tianci would not be able to take it out. Lin Tianci immediately sneered. Grandpa, Dad, do you really think that martial arts is a cabbage on the roadside? How can I comprehend it if I want to? When Lin Tianci said this, everyone in the Lin family burst into laughter. Indeed, how could Lin Tianci take out something so casually that they had spent most of their lives without creating it? No matter what, it would take time to settle. After encouraging Lin Tianci and Lin Dong, everyone in the Lin family dispersed. Lin Tianci, Lin Xia, and Lincoln naturally went home. Lin Tianci took out a fire python tiger cub from his room. Facing Lin Xia's expectant eyes, he placed the fire python tiger cub in Lin Xia's arms. Xiaoxia, this time we got 4 fire python tiger cubs. Grandpa asked me to distribute them myself. One is for Lin Dong and the other is for you. Lin Tianci said with a smile. Lin Xia looked at the fire python tiger cub that was still moving in her arms, and her face was filled with joy. She really liked this little guy. The fire python tiger was small at this moment, with big eyes that were clear and furry, especially the pink and tender little pads of meat exposed when the claws were stretched out, which directly touched Lin Xia's heart. Brother, you are so kind. Lin Xia was so happy that she almost jumped up. After she held the fire python tiger cub in her arms, she kept rubbing the fire python tiger's body with her other hand. As expected of my brother, he is so powerful that he can even get something like a fire python tiger cub. Lin Xia laughed, looking at Lin Tianci with admiration. Unfortunately, this time, Tianci, you have offended the Lei and Xia families. Lei Li is the youngest that the Lei family values the most. Lincoln thought of something and reminded Lin Tianci, even though they retreated so easily today, the two families will never give up. When Lin Tianci heard Lincoln mention the Lei and Xia families, his smiling face sank at this moment. He smiled coldly. Don't worry, Dad, the Lei and Xia families won't last long. You don't have to worry about me. Not for long. Lincoln's face showed a trace of doubt. It seemed that he couldn't understand what Lin Tianci meant. After all, the Lei and Xia families were the two most powerful families in Qingyang town. Unless someone could reach the legendary Yuandan realm, he would not be able to do anything to the Lei and Xia families. Nothing. Lin Tianci shook his head, but didn't explain much. Anyway, he could soon tell Lincoln what he meant by his words with his actual actions. Lin Tianci returned to his room and sat cross-legged on the bed. Today, he got the Qingdi Chongxing Ju with a very high upper limit, so he naturally needs to practice it well. This technique is divided into 9 levels. Although it is said that it requires cultivation to support it when it is practiced to a high level, but for the first few levels, with Lin Tianci's current strength and background, there is no problem at all. Lin Tianci took out a few third-grade spiritual medicines. To practice this technique, you need sufficient true energy in your body, so you naturally need the help of spiritual medicines. Although the effect of taking spiritual medicine directly is not as good as refining it into spiritual pills, that is only for ordinary people. With Lin Tianci's current talent, whether it is spiritual medicine or spiritual pills, they can be absorbed relatively perfectly. Unknowingly, a night passed, several third-grade spiritual medicines have been eaten, and the first level of the Qingdi Chongxing Ju was also practiced by Lin Tianci. He breathed a sigh of relief. At this moment, a vitality can be felt in the air exhaled by Lin Tianci. Chapter 57. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Tianci got up from the bed. I didn't expect that after mastering the Qing Emperor's longevity art, I could still conceal my cultivation aura. Lin Tianci raised his eyebrows, with surprise in his eyes. Perhaps concealing cultivation is only the most insignificant effect of the Qing Emperor's longevity art, so it is not mentioned in the technique. But this effect gave Lin Tianci a great surprise. After all, the Tianxian continent is so big, and there are many techniques or magic weapons that can detect cultivation. If the cultivation can be concealed, it will play a very critical role at some times. Lin Tianci went to the back mountain. He was going to go to the place where he practiced daily. He believed that Qing Tan would definitely come. After all, so many days had passed, and this was a small tacit understanding between the two. The fire python tiger obtained in the hunt had not been given to Qing Tan. This time it was just right for her, so, the Lin family had such a harmonious scene. Lin Tianci walked in front, a fire python tiger cub, and another monster that looked a bit like a fire python tiger cub but was not a fire python tiger cub followed behind Lin Tianci. The two little guys followed behind Lin Tianci with their hands and feet. After walking for a long time, the speed of the two little guys was too slow. so there was still a long distance from the back mountain. Lin Tianci simply picked up the fire python tiger cub and the 9-winged white tiger cub and flew towards the back mountain. Soon he arrived at his daily practice place. Qing Tan was not seen at this moment. Lin Tianci put the two little guys on the ground and let them play by themselves. Whether it was a monster or a wild beast nearby, Lin Tianci had basically cleaned it up. Therefore, he was not worried about the safety of the two cubs. What's more, although the 9-winged white tiger cub was born not long ago, it is an ancient monster after all, and its strength is already quite large. Therefore, smaller beasts can't do anything to it. Lin Tianci sat cross-legged on a rock, while continuing to comprehend the Qing Emperor's longevity secret, while waiting for Qing Tan's arrival. As the skills were running, wisps of light blue true qi were released from Lin Tianci's body. This true qi contained some vitality, therefore, for a while, the surrounding weeds and bushes grew wildly, and tended to get closer to Lin Tianci. As the light blue true qi slowly fluctuated, the bushes and weeds on the ground also showed the same fluctuations. With a sense of rhythm, it also made Lin Tianci, who was in the center, look like a banished immortal. Qing Tan, who had just arrived here, was stunned for a while after seeing this scene. At this moment, Lin Tianci was even more handsome than he felt yesterday. Qing Tan was worried that she would disturb Lin Tianci's practice, so she came to Lin Tianci quietly and put the bamboo basket aside. Inside was the fruit she had just picked. Qing Tan held her chin with both hands and looked at Lin Tianci quietly. If someone came here and saw this scene, they would probably think that this was a scene from a painting. The young man had a calm expression, his eyes slightly closed, and he exuded an otherworldly aura. Next to him was a delicate girl, blinking her big eyes at the young man. Her eyebrows were like paintings, and her eyes were moving. Even the weeds seemed to have spiritual energy at this moment, quietly surrounding the man and the woman. After a long time, Lin Tianci completed a cycle of the Qing Emperor's longevity art. He slowly opened his eyes, and a flash of green light flashed from the bottom of his eyes. He felt that his understanding of the Qing Emperor's longevity art had deepened. In fact, Lin Tianci felt it just after Qing Tan stepped into this place. It was just that the operation of the technique was at a critical moment at that time, so he did not open his eyes. The feeling that Tianci gave me today. Qing Tan spoke at this moment, then she wrinkled her pretty little nose, as if she didn't know how to describe it. Somewhat comfortable. Lin Tianci understood in his heart that this was the effect of the Qing Emperor's longevity secret. If the true qi was released, it would have the effect of calming the mind and nourishing the heart. Even a person with a bad temper would not lose his temper so easily after absorbing this true qi. Qing Tan, I haven't seen you for so long. Let me check your body and see if there are any signs of the cold in your body recurring. Lin Tianci smiled slightly, then, without waiting for Qing Tan to speak, he kissed her skillfully, and at the same time, his big hands moved restlessly on Qing Tan's body. Qing Tan's body stiffened, but she did not resist. After a long time, Lin Tianci finally parted his lips in satisfaction. At this time, Qing Tan's face was already powdered, and her eyes were blurred, and her watery eyes were very tempting. Let's put it this way, Qing Tan, this was just a preliminary examination. Next, I will teach you martial arts, and feel whether the evil spirit in your body will burst out uncontrollably when practicing martial arts. Lin Tianci said again. Qing Tan's brain was a mess at this moment. How could she understand what Lin Tianci meant? She just nodded subconsciously. Then, Lin Tianci approached without hesitation. Teaching martial arts, of course, can achieve the best effect only by teaching in person. After a while of teaching, Qing Tan was already sweating profusely, and her body was shaking with exhaustion. Not bad, not bad. It seems that the evil spirit in your body has been controlled quite well during this period. Lin Tianci sat aside and let Qing Tan rest on his shoulder. Brother Tianci, you are really bad, Qing Tan whispered. When she was teaching martial arts just now, she was so embarrassed. By the way, I have a gift for you. Lin Tianci's eyes moved. He whistled. What is that? Qing Tan asked in confusion. Look. Lin Tianci pointed at the bushes beside him angrily. Soon, the bushes were parted, and the two little guys went forward one after the other. Lin Tianci ran over. Then, Lin Tianci grabbed the fire python tiger cub's neck and placed it in Qing Tan's arms. This fire python tiger cub is for you. Do you like it? I like it. At this moment, Qing Tan touched the fire python tiger cub in his arms and spoke without hesitation. his eyes turning into stars, Lin Tianci picked up his 9-winged white tiger cub, then, he injected a wave of chaos power into the cub's body. I hope the little guy can grow up faster. Lin Tianci was looking forward to it. He wanted to see how much surprise this 9-winged white tiger could bring him when it reached adulthood. Today, many people gathered in the meeting room of the Lei family. These people were all core members of the Lei family and the Xie family. However, despite the large number of people, the atmosphere seemed quite depressing. It was because of the two old men sitting in the main seat, with gloomy faces and murderous eyes. Chapter 58. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Tianci's existence has seriously threatened the interests of the Lei and Xie families. This hunt has made them lose face, especially the Lei family's Taima Manor and the Xie family's auction house are about to change owners. After a discussion, Lei Bao's face showed a sinister look. Lin Tianci must die. Lin Zhentian, do you think it is so easy to get my Lei family's Taima Manor? With the hunting coming to an end, the atmosphere of Qingyang town returned from being extremely lively to being calm. However, under this calm, Lin Tianci's reputation spread steadily in Qingyang town. The mountains were so deep that one could not see the end of them. There originally lived a half-step Tianyuan realm monster, the ice bear. This ice bear was good at strength, and was even stronger than the average Tianyuan realm monster. On its chest, there were light blue hairs. When fighting with the enemy, it could summon ice blades, which were quite powerful. However, the ice bear was lazy in character, so except when hunting, this creature was not dangerous. It was either sleeping or basking in the sun. Even if someone walked in front of it, it might not bother to pay attention. At this time, the ice bear should be taking a nap lazily, but now, it stood up, landed on its feet, roared, and pounced on the figure in front of it. Its mountain-like body gave people a strong sense of oppression. However, the figure standing in front of it just stretched out his hand, followed the arm of the ice bear, and then suddenly stuck to it. Schwa. The huge ice bear was easily thrown over the shoulder by this figure, and flew more than 5 meters. I don't know how many trees it hit in the process. Brother Tianci is so great. Not far from the figure, a girl in light blue clothes saw this scene and smiled sweetly. The ice bear was knocked unconscious and quickly got up. A trace of fear appeared in its honest eyes. Then, it didn't even want its nest, and it ran for its life on all fours. Lin Tianci smiled, put his fist and came to Qingtan. At this time, a full month had passed since the hunt. During this month, Lin Tianci also successfully absorbed a lot of chaotic power, and even cultivated the Qingdi Changxing Ju to the 2nd level, and the meridians in the body were opened up for a full 80 times. The speed of absorbing the vitality of heaven and earth is unknown how many times faster than before. His strength has already reached the peak of the Earth Yuan realm. Now, he is only one step away from the Heaven Yuan realm. Next, as long as the Yang Gang Qi enters his body, he can easily enter the Heaven Yuan realm, but Lin Tianci is not so anxious. Tonight is the Lin family's dinner party, let's go back first. Lin Tianci touched Qingtan's little head. Qingtan nodded and picked up the small bamboo basket beside him. At this time, there was a first-grade spiritual medicine and a second-grade spiritual medicine in the bamboo basket. These were the harvest of this afternoon. Soon, night fell. The Lin family's dinner party also kicked off at this moment. During this period of time, there has been no major events in Qingyang town. The various industries of the Lin family are also in full swing, and everyone is very busy. At this dinner party, Lin Tianci also met Lincoln, whom he hadn't seen for a whole month. Beside Lin Tianci, there was a rather magical monster, lying quietly beside him. This monster was naturally the 9-winged white tiger obtained by Lin Tianci, and Lin Tianci also named it Xiaoyi. In just 1 month, Xiaoyi was already quite large at this moment. Even lying on the ground, he had reached the size of Lin Tianci. Tianci's waist. At this moment, Xiaoyi also revealed the majestic appearance of an ancient monster. Although he was just lying on the ground quietly, he gave people a very ferocious feeling. The tiger's head was huge, and when he opened his mouth, his sharp teeth flashed silver light, which made people shudder. In just 1 month, Xiaoyi was able to grow from a cub to its current appearance. Naturally, the credit of the Chaos Ancestral Stone was indispensable. After all, every once in a while, Lin Tianci would reveal the Chaos Ancestral Stone and let Xiaoyi lick it, and with Xiaoyi's current ability, he would not be afraid even if he encountered a person or monster in the Earth Yuan realm. Lin Tianci and others looked at Xiaoyi from time to time, with a little envy and sigh. Obviously, in their cognition, Xiaoyi should be mutated, and his future potential must be far beyond that of the fire python tiger. Tianci, Lin Tianci put down his chopsticks and looked at Lin Tianci. After Lin Tianci threw the big piece of meat on the plate to Xiaoyi, he turned his head and looked at Lin Tianci. Tianci, you have been practicing Qingyuan Gong for quite some time, right? How many meridians have you opened up now? Lin Tianci asked with a hint of expectation in his eyes. Although Qingyuan Gong is a third-rate technique, it is not so easy to open up meridians. Even for Lin Xiao, who is so talented, it took him 4 months to open up 4 meridians. Now, if he can open up 4 meridians in 1 month, it is quite good. Oh. Lin Tianci said without thinking. 8. Just when he was about to add a 10, Lin Tianci suddenly reacted and quickly shut up. 8 roads opened. What? Lin Tianci opened his eyes wide. This Qingyuan Gong can open up 4 channels in total. Tianci, you expanded it again. The chopsticks fell to the ground beside him, and everyone looked at Lin Tianci in disbelief. It was okay to expand it, but it was expanded by twice. Lin Tianci nodded, and then he was thankful that he didn't react in time, otherwise it would be a difficult problem to explain these 80 points. I'm really making myself uncomfortable. Lin Tianci gave a bitter smile. Every time he asked Lin Tianci about cultivation, he felt ashamed. Lin Tianci turned his head and looked at Lin Dong. Donger, how many paths have you opened now? 3. Lin Dong said truthfully, with Lin Tianci's 8 in front, Lin Dong's 3 would cause much less turmoil. Everyone nodded. Well, although it was outrageous, it was not as outrageous as Lin Tianci. Although this result is quite good, Donger, you still need to learn from Tianci. Lin Xiao interrupted and said, well, I will work harder. Lin Dong replied with full enthusiasm. Afterwards, Lin Tianci asked about the cultivation of several other juniors, and then began to ask about the daily business situation of the Yu family. When this was mentioned, Lin Tianci noticed it very keenly. His father Lincoln and Uncle Lin Xiao beside him did not look very good. Even Lin Mang's face was gloomy at this moment. Obviously, the development of the Lin family this month was not as smooth as before. Chapter 59. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yeah. After hearing Lin Tianci's question, Lincoln nodded slightly, and then a burst of anger suddenly flashed in his eyes. The Lei family bastards agreed to hand over the property in half a month, but it's been a month and there's still no movement in time or manner. Even when we sent people to urge them, they just closed the door and pretended they couldn't see us. After saying this, Lincoln felt aggrieved. When hunting, with so many people in front of him, Lincoln felt that the Lei family wouldn't dare to break their promise, but now, the Lei family did not break their promise, but they put on a shameless excuse. Even if the matter was exposed, the Lei family would probably just say that the manor is too big and they are still dealing with the handover. This attitude is even more difficult to deal with than breaking a promise. Taimu Manor is rich in ironwood, which is a big industry of the Lei family. What's more, the ironwood is used in making weapons, etc. It has a very good effect in this aspect. It can be said that the supply exceeds the demand within 100 miles. Selling this ironwood is not only a gain, but also can make a lot of connections. Therefore, the Lei family naturally wants to firmly grasp such a piece of fat meat in their hands, even if it is only for one more day. But as the party that was stood up, the Lin family is naturally unhappy. Hearing Lincoln's words, the faces of several core members of the Lin family were not very good. Even the younger generations who were talking cast their eyes over curiously, and Lin Xiao also sighed. It was as if the Lei and Xie families had made an appointment. Things were not going well at the auction house. Every time I went there, the Xie family just said that the previous items had not been sold out yet and never mentioned the connection. But it has been a month, so even if there are many items, they should have been auctioned off by now. Lin Xiao meant that the so-called items were just an excuse made by the Xie family, these bastards. Lin Tianci's face darkened when he heard this. Anyone with a discerning eye could see that this was just a delaying tactic by the Lei and Xie families, but they did not deny the handover. This made the Lin family's punch feel like hitting cotton, which was quite uncomfortable. Now in the entire Qingyang town, I'm afraid that many people are watching the Lin family's jokes and want to know how this matter will end. The Taimu Manor and the auction house are what our Lin family deserves. They are ours, and we must get them. After a moment of silence, Lin Tianci revealed the majesty of the head of the family and said in a deep voice, however, we have to prioritize things. Although the auction house is profitable, the ironwood produced by the Ironwood Manor is of great use to our Lin family, so we must get the Ironwood Manor as soon as possible. Lin Tianci's cold words reached everyone's ears. Yes. Lincoln and the others nodded. Tomorrow morning, Lincoln and I will take a few good fighters from our Lin family to go back to the Lei family. Lin Tianci took a deep breath and said, if we don't get the Taimu Manor, the whole Qingyang town will laugh at our Lin family. The Lei and Xie families really went too far. Lin Tianci also sneered and said, Grandpa, I will go with you tomorrow. If the Lei family is sensible, it would be fine if they handed over the manor to us. If not, I want to see how many lives they have for me to kill. When saying this, Lin Tianci's tone was full of murderous intent. If the Lei family is unwilling to hand over peacefully, even if the Lin family takes forceful action, others will not be able to say anything if they know, after all, the Lei family is not right in this matter. Hearing the murderous intent in Lin Tianci's mouth, Lin Dong's heart trembled. Since Brother Tianci is going, I will go with him. Lin Tianci wanted to refuse subconsciously when he heard this, but he changed his mind and thought that Lin Dong and Lin Tianci's current strength had reached the earthly realm. Even in the entire Lin family, their strength was quite strong. He could no longer treat them as children, therefore, he swallowed the words that had not yet been spoken. In that case, you too can follow me, but don't act rashly and remember to protect yourself. Seeing Lin Tianci agree, the other young people in the Lin family all showed envy in their eyes. It seems to be a simple matter, but it is enough to show that in the minds of Lin Tianci and other elders, Lin Tianci is fully qualified to participate in various family affairs. The next morning, the Lin family was ready. Dozens of horses stood in a row. On the horses were all the best players selected by the Lin family last night. Even the weakest ones had reached the level of the earthly realm. The leader was naturally the patriarch of the Lin family, Lin Tianci. In addition to Lin Tianci, Lincoln was also riding on the horse behind Lin Tianci. For this handover, the Lin family not only sent 2 Tianyuan realm masters, but even Lin Tianci came out. Therefore, it can be seen that the Lin family attaches great importance to this handover. Among these figures, there was a white figure that was quite eye-catching. This was naturally Lin Tianci riding on Xiaoyi's back. Xiaoyi was pure white, with his tiger eyes slightly narrowed. A pair of wings grew behind him and were flapping slightly. His appearance was naturally majestic. As a 9-winged white tiger, Xiaoyi naturally had 9 pairs of wings on his back, but in normal conditions, Xiaoyi would retract the rest of the wings and leave only 1 pair. In addition to Lin Tianci, Lin Dong was also riding a fire python in the crowd. Although Lin Dong's fire python was also amazingly developed, it was still smaller than Xiaoyi. As he walked around, it was not difficult to see that he recognized Xiaoyi as his big brother. Now that everyone is here, let's go. Lin Tianci nodded slightly, then glanced at Xiaoyi inconspicuously, and then waved his hand. The Lin family did not delay any longer, flicked the whip, turned around and galloped towards the outside of Qingyang town. Xiaoyi under Lin Tianci's crotch flapped his wings, took 4 steps, and followed the Lin family quite easily. When passing through Qingyang town, this rather cool mount naturally caused quite a stir. One by one, everyone looked at Xiaoyi subconsciously, with deep envy. Taimu Manor is about half a day's journey from Qingyang town. After a morning of running around, at the end of the road, the main gate of Taimu Manor gradually appeared in everyone's eyes. The manor is huge, and the spreading wall is so long that you can't see the end at a glance. Through the wall, you can see huge black trees in the manor. This is naturally the ironwood that Taimu Manor produces in abundance. Chapter 60. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It seems that the Lei family doesn't welcome our arrival. Lin Tianci looked at the tightly closed manor door and sneered. With so many people coming, the sound of horse hooves alone was quite loud. It was impossible to say that the people in Taimu Manor didn't hear the noise outside. Be on guard. Lincoln waved his hand. The Lin family's men were all alert at this moment. A clanging sound was heard. It was the sound of swords being unsheathed. It seems that the Lei family wants to use their usual procrastination tactics again. Lin Tianci sneered. At this moment, there was not even a single person on guard in the sentry tower beside the main gate of Taima Manor. The entire manor seemed to be empty. However, Lin Tianci knew that this was just an illusion created by the Lei family. Since the Lei family is a coward, we can't be blamed. Lin Tianci was too lazy to continue waiting with the Lei family. After all, the Lei family was determined to drag it out. I'm afraid that even if they waited here for a whole morning, the door would not open. When they came, they had a huge momentum, and many people in the whole Qingyang town saw them. If they went back in disgrace, their Lin family's reputation in Qingyang town would probably be greatly reduced. I want to see if the people in Taima village are made of iron wood, and if they are as hard as iron wood. Lin Tianci said loudly. Then, he stretched out his hand and patted the tiger head of Xiaoyi under his crotch. Xiaoyi, charge. Xiaoyi did not hesitate at all, and rushed towards Taima village not far away like a sword. Lincoln was anxious and subconsciously looked at Lin Jintian. Since the Lei family is unreasonable, our Lin family doesn't need to give them any face. Lin Jintian nodded and waved his hand. The Lin family also rushed towards the gate of Taima Manor. Xiaoyi's speed was very fast. Almost in the blink of an eye, he arrived in front of the tightly closed gate of Taima Manor. At this time, Xiaoyi's speed did not slow down at all. Lin Tianci's hand was already covered with a thin layer of chaos power. Bang! After arriving at the gate, Lin Tianci punched out fiercely. His fist, mixed with huge power, hit the gate of Taima Manor heavily. The heavy gate made of black iron, under Lin Tianci's punch, actually broke away from the door frame and flew to the back. A very hideous dent was left on the gate. This scene made everyone in the Lin family stunned. The original loud momentum also had a slight dullness at this moment. How great is the power of God! Lin Jintian's eyebrows twitched, and he subconsciously looked at Lincoln. No, I don't know. Lincoln's face also showed a trace of astonishment. During this period of time, he was busy with family affairs and rarely went home, so he neglected Lin Tianci's progress in cultivation. At this moment, seeing Lin Tianci knock the door away with one punch, a trace of absurdity also emerged in his heart. Lin Tianci rushed into Taima Manor first. In the whole Taima Manor, there were many people busy. Behind Lin Tianci, Lin Jintian and other Lin family members also swarmed in. I say, you Lin family members are too impatient. Not only did you not bring the exchange documents, you also directly blasted open the door of my Taima Manor. An angry voice came from the side. Lin Tianci turned his head and saw several figures coming out of the stone house next to him. These two figures seemed familiar. They should have been seen before when dealing with the Lei family, but Lin Tianci could not recognize who they were. Lei Nua, Lei Ying, Lei Xiang. Lincoln's face was a little gloomy after seeing these two people. Lei Nua, Lei Ying and Lei Xiang are all the backbone of the Lei family. All three of them have reached the early stage of Tianyuan realm. Obviously, sending 3 Tianyuan realm masters to guard this place, the Lei family can be considered to be on guard. I originally thought that I would hand over Taima Manor to you in the next few days, but the black iron gate is broken and needs to be repaired. I am afraid it will not be repaired in 1 or 2 months. Lei Nuo was also shocked by the power displayed by Lin Tianci, but he soon reacted. His eyes moved slightly, and he said, Lei, stop being so unreasonable. We agreed on half a month, but half a month has passed. Lincoln heard this and said, why don't you hand over Taima Manor to us today, so that you don't have to spend money to repair the black iron gate. At this moment, Lin Tianci, who was wandering around Taima Manor with Xiaoyi, suddenly sniffed, and a rather unpleasant smell was inhaled by Lin Tianci. Xiaoyi, do you smell it? Lin Tianci touched Xiaoyi's tiger head under his crotch. Xiaoyi growled softly, the sense of smell of monsters is much sharper than that of humans. Lin Tianci immediately thought of something, and his face suddenly changed. Xiaoyi, go inside. He actually forgot something very important. Several people from the Lei family wanted to come over to stop Lin Tianci, but they were violently pushed away by Xiaoyi, and then went deep into Taima village without any hindrance. Isn't your Lin family's Lin Tianci a bit too much? Lei Ying said with a gloomy face after seeing this scene. Lin Jintian was also a little surprised by Lin Tianci's behavior. However, before he could say anything, Lin Tianci's voice suddenly came out. Grandpa, Dad, come and have a look. Lin Tianci's voice was filled with undisguised anger. Upon hearing this, Lin Tianci and the others looked at each other, and regardless of the Lei family's obstruction, they went straight to Lin Tianci. After just a glance, Lin Tianci and the others' faces turned pale. These bastards. Lin Tianci gritted his teeth and said. The area where the ironwood grows in front of them should have been lush and green, but now it is mostly empty. There are black wooden stakes on the ground. There are many messy marks on the broken parts of the wooden stakes, which are obviously cut out in a hurry. In addition, there are many figures in this area, pouring pots of smelly potions on the land. These guys are destroying the land. You Lei family, are you going too far? Lincoln gritted his teeth. What the Lei family destroyed was all money. This was the farm that was about to be handed over to their Lin family. Every time the Lei family poured more water, their Lin family would get less. Lincoln felt that his heart was twitching with pain at this moment. The other people in the Lin family also looked very ugly. Chapter 61. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I say, this manor has not been handed over to your Lin family yet, and you just force your way in. Don't you think too highly of my Lei family? Lei Nuo and others followed him. Behind him, in addition to Lei Nuo and Lei Ying, there were also many good players from the Lei family. These people, many more than the ones brought by the Lin family, all reached the earthly realm. They looked unfriendly and stared at the Lin family. When Lei Nuo saw Lin Tianci's gloomy eyes, his heart trembled. He became more and more resentful of Lin Tianci. If it weren't for this nosy kid, the Lin family would not have discovered what they did. They could have secretly destroyed the manor. From now on, Taimo village will be taken over by our Lin family. You can retreat now. Lin Tianci glanced at the destroyed land again. His heart was bleeding at this moment. Even with his temperament, he couldn't help but want to take action after seeing this scene. You, the Lin family, will take over? Lei Nuo snorted coldly. Anyway, now that everyone in the Lin family has discovered it, he simply stopped hiding it. I haven't received any news about the handover from our family. Today, I'm afraid we will have to retreat. After saying that, he turned to the people who were busy in that area and said, you continue, speed up. With Lei Nuo's words, everyone in the Lei family who was working also quickly sped up, and the speed of pouring the potion was much faster than before, looking for death. Lin Tianci snorted coldly. The little wing under his crotch seemed to sense the displeasure of its master, and roared like a tiger. Then it pounced on the people who splashed the potion. The people who splashed the potion here were basically servants of the Lei family. Even if they had cultivation, they were only at the tempering body realm. Where had they seen such a scene? Feeling the threat to their lives, they were immediately scared and fled in all directions, not caring about the potions in their hands. Since your Lin family is so domineering. Lei Nuo's face suddenly sank, and then he waved his hand. Go. After saying this, he, Lei Ying and Lei Xiang went towards Lin Tianci and Lincoln. Although Lin Tianci has reached the late stage of Tianyuan realm, their Lei family has 3 Tianyuan realm masters to keep the place in check. What's more, they have the advantage of terrain, and there are many more Dun realm masters than the Lin family. Therefore, Lei Nuo was not afraid. He and Lei Ying entangled with Lin Tianci, while Lei Xiang came to Lincoln. Although the 3 of them had some difficulties in dealing with Lin Tianci and Lincoln, but after all, they are all in Tianyuan realm, and if they just drag it out, it can be delayed for a long time. When the victory or defeat on the Dun realm side is decided and support is sent to their battlefield, the balance of victory will tip to their side. And Lin Tianci and Lincoln obviously thought of this. At this point, their faces couldn't help but become gloomy, and a trace of retreat emerged in their hearts, but unfortunately, the arrow was on the string and had to be shot. They had been surrounded by the Lei family and had no way to retreat. Soon, the people of the Lei family in the Earth Yuan realm collided with the Lin family's Qi Ning and other Earth Yuan realm guards, and casualties also appeared at this moment. People with quite good strength like Qi Ning and Lin Dong could still resist, but many guards with weaker strength were chopped down in one encounter. Soon, there were fewer and fewer guards of the Lin family who could still stand. While there were still many guards of the Lei family, the situation was critical. At this moment, a tiger roar came from far away. It was Xiaoyi who arrived with Lin Tianci. At this moment, Lin Tianci had already expelled all the people from the Lei family who were still splashing potions. Come on. Seeing the tragic situation of the Lin family, Lin Tianci's face changed. If he came a little later, the entire Lin family would be seriously injured. Lin Tianci rushed into the crowd. At this moment, Lin Dong and the few other Lin family members who were still standing had blood on their clothes, and it was obvious that they could not hold on for too long. Another one is here to die. Someone in the crowd snorted coldly, then raised his knife and chopped down at Lin Tianci. This man's momentum was quite strong, and he had already reached the late stage of the earthly realm. However, Lin Tianci just glanced at him, then he casually blasted out with the Wuji Bahuang palm. The machete did not break Lin Tianci's defense, but his casual palm made the latter open his eyes wide, spit blood and fly, and fell heavily to the ground. A huge dent appeared on his chest, and it was obvious that he was breathing more than breathing in, and he would not live long. Everyone in the Lei family was stunned, while Qining, Lin Dong and others were ecstatic. Brother Tianci is finally here. Lin Dong breathed a sigh of relief, and then an incomparable sense of security emanated from his heart. Lin Tianci's clean and neat palm seemed to have aroused the ferocity of the Lei family. After they were stunned for a moment, they rushed up with knives, looking for death. Lin Tianci's eyes flashed with a fierce light, then he threw a punch quickly. Each punch and palm were filled with a trace of chaos power. No one in the Lei family could withstand Lin Tianci's punch. They all flew out. The light ones lay on the ground helplessly, with blood flowing from the corners of their mouths, while the heavy ones died before they even hit the ground. With the help of Lin Tianci, the pressure on the Lin family members instantly decreased a lot, and as the number of people in the Lei family decreased sharply, they finally had time to pay attention to Lin Tianci's movements. Suddenly, pairs of eyes widened, looking at the back of Lin Tianci in front of them in disbelief. Is this Brother Tianci's strength? Lin Dong wiped the blood off his face and muttered. He had never felt the gap between himself and Lin Tianci so much. They were both in the earthly realm, and it was difficult for him to deal with two people of the same realm, but Lin Tianci was like a man in an empty space, and the people of the Lei family could not have any influence on him at all. Master Tianci, it's true. Qining also opened his eyes wide, took 2 deep breaths, and then continued. Awesome. One person beat so many people of the same realm. Who else in the entire Qingyang town can do it? In addition to the Lin family, the rest of the Lei family also had fear on their faces at this moment. This guy is a monster. Someone took 2 steps back and said with a trembling voice, evildoer, evildoer. Lin Tianci's performance made them tremble with fear. At this moment, they even lost the courage to pick up the knife, because they knew that even if they risked their lives, they could not cause any harm to Lin Tianci. The movement here was finally noticed by Lin Jintian and others. Chapter 62. You are listening at novelfull.audio. His grandson alone turned the situation around. Lin Jintian knocked Lei Noa and laying back with 1 punch, then he snorted coldly. I'm afraid your 2 plans are going to fail. What are you talking about in your sleep? Lei Noa sneered. This place is quite far from your Lin family. It's useless even if you delay time. Is it a delay? You can see for yourself. Lin Jintian laughed. Lei Noa was indifferent to this, but at this moment, Lei patted his shoulder. Lei Noa frowned and looked at Lei Ying. However, what he saw was Lei Ying's expression as if he had seen a ghost. Lei Noa, look. Lei Ying pointed to another battlefield behind him. Lei Noa subconsciously looked behind him. However, this glance made Lei Noa stunned. He saw a figure riding a white tiger, moving flexibly between the camps of their Lei family, and that figure just punched and slapped casually, and beat the people of their Lei family and made them spit blood and retreat, like a god of war. And the Lei family members who were repelled by him, even those who had a better end, were seriously injured at this moment. Even if they recovered in the future, their foundation was injured, and their strength was probably only 1 in 10. And most people didn't even have a chance to land. If not, they will be killed. Lei Noa, who saw this scene, was so angry that he was shaking at the moment. Although the earthly realm is not as important as the heavenly realm in their Lei family, it is still the backbone of a family. And cultivating a earthly realm also requires a lot of resources from the Lei family, and this time, in order to guard against the sneak attack of the Lin family, their Lei family has transferred half of the family's earthly realm masters, but now so many people have been directly killed by this young man. After such a commotion today, the vitality of their Lei family may be damaged. Lei Nua's eyes turned red in an instant. Tianci, well done. Lincoln also noticed the situation on Lin Tianci's side and shouted subconsciously. There was a strong sense of pride in his voice, this little beast. Seeing that Lin Tianci was going to kill all the earthly realm experts of their Lei family here, Lei Nua could no longer bear it. He roared and went towards Lin Tianci. Stop. Lin Jintian's expression changed, and he wanted to stop Lei Nua. However, Lei shouted angrily at this moment, urging all his Yuanli in his body to throw his strongest punch at Lin Jintian. Lin Jintian's forward momentum was forcibly stopped. He looked at Lei Nua's back and roared. Lincoln on the side also changed his expression. Although Lei Nua is in the early stage of Tianyuan realm, he is also a real Tianyuan realm. Tianci, run. Lin Jintian roared, run. Too late. A sneer appeared on Lei Nua's mouth. Little bastard, you die. The faces of many guards of the Lin family also changed drastically. They came to Lin Tianci one after another, hoping to resist the aggressive Lei Nua. However, Lei Nua just waved his hand, and those guards vomited blood and flew away. The huge gap between the Tianyuan realm and the Dun realm was undoubtedly revealed at this moment. Lin Tianci also turned his head and looked at Lei Nua. This Lei Nua obviously pushed the speed to the fastest, but now he can't run away. Facing Lei Nua's ferocious eyes, Lin Tianci's mouth curled up and he smiled, then in his hand, the seal method changed wildly. The first level of the Kaitian seal. A majestic energy bloomed from Lin Tianci's hand. Lin Tianci's eyes moved slightly, then, his gesture changed unexpectedly. The second level of the Kaitian seal. The seal method slowly took shape in his hand. Die. Lightning flashed on Lei Nua's body, and he used the fourth-grade martial arts of the Lei family, the Thunder Palm. This martial arts was obviously aimed at Lin Tianci's life. Tianci. Lin Jintian roared. Finished, the other Lin family guards lay on the ground, closing their eyes in despair. Only Lin Dong stared at Lin Tianci. Brother Tianci, nothing will happen to you. A touch of satisfaction appeared in the eyes of everyone in the Lei family. These days, the Lei family has been dreaming about how to get rid of Lin Tianci, and now this opportunity has finally come to them. As long as they kill Lin Tianci, the rest of the younger generation of their Lin family will not be a concern. Under the eyes of different expressions, the palm with surging lightning finally touched the seal of opening the sky. Boom. A huge roar sounded, followed by a wave of energy that quickly exploded and spread to the distance. Many people just felt the aftermath of the explosion, and their faces turned pale. Then, everyone stared at the center of the collision. A figure took 2 steps back uncontrollably. This figure was Lei Nua from the Lei family. Lin Tianci slowly closed his palm. All the eyes widened at this moment. The atmosphere in the field was silent. Even Lin Jintian and others forgot to continue to attack. Blocked. Lin Jintian took a deep breath, his words full of disbelief. Nothing happened. Seeing that Lin Tianci was safe and sound, Lincoln's eyes were slightly red at this moment. Fortunately, nothing happened. Fortunately, nothing happened. Impossible. Lei Nua obviously couldn't accept the scene in front of him. Under his strongest martial arts, how could this kid who was not even at the Tianyuan realm be safe and sound? But his arms, which were somewhat numb from the recoil force, kept reminding Lei Nua that this was true. This kid not only blocked it, but also injured himself. I knew it. I knew Brother Tianci would be fine. Lin Dong also breathed a sigh of relief. Nothing is impossible. I feel ashamed for you, a Tianyuan realm being so weak. Lin Tianci's face did not show any paleness. The palm from the Tianyuan realm was indeed strong, but his physique had been transformed by the power of chaos, so it was not difficult for him to block this palm. You! Lei Nua was furious, but the only remaining trace of resignation told him that this place was not a place to stay for long. That was his strongest attack just now, and it couldn't cause any harm to Lin Tianci. Then their situation would be dangerous. Lei Nua threw his robe and several bullets were thrown to the ground. Suddenly, smoke rose, while everyone was still paying attention to Lin Tianci's situation, Lei Noa grabbed Lei Ying and Lei Xiang and fled madly outside the village. Lincoln subconsciously wanted to chase, but was stopped by Lin Jintian. Let them go. If someone from the Tianyuan realm dies, I'm afraid that old Lei Bao will immediately go to war with our Lin family. Lin Jintian said. Chapter 63. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When the smoke cleared, the 3 Tianyuan realm masters of the Lei family were nowhere to be seen. The rest of the Lei family members were lying on the ground like dead dogs. It was obvious that these people had been abandoned by Lei Noa and others without hesitation. After all, judging from the situation just now, if Lei Noa and others ran slower, they would probably be in danger of their lives. Look at the situation of those people, dig a pit to bury the dead ones, and throw the rest out of the door. Lin Jintian waved his hand. He naturally couldn't have a good face for these people from the Lei family. He was very merciful not to kill those Lei family guards who were still alive. As for whether they could survive after being thrown out of the door, it had nothing to do with the Lin family. Then, the guards of the Lin family took action and began to do the aftermath. Lin Jintian and others surrounded Lin Tianci. Tianci, you were not hurt by Lei Noa's palm just now, right? Lin Jintian looked at Lin Tianci with concern in his eyes and said that if his grandson gets hurt, even if Lei Noa has 100 lives it won't be enough to compensate. It's okay, Grandpa, Lin Tianci said with a smile. Although Lei Noa has only been in the Tianyuan realm for a short time, he is also a real Tianyuan realm. It is beyond my expectation that he can take his full-strength palm without losing. After carefully checking Lin Tianci's physical condition and realizing that Lin Tianci is fine, Lin Jintian breathed a sigh of relief, and then his eyes showed a look of relief. Originally, he agreed to let Lin Tianci come, just to bring Lin Tianci to see the world and let him feel the struggle between families. Unexpectedly, Lin Tianci played the most critical role. If they hadn't brought Lin Tianci here today, maybe they would be in danger. By then, the entire Lin family will end up falling apart. This is really beyond Lin Jintian's expectations. Brother Tianci's strength is truly unfathomable. Lin Dong stood aside, looking at Lin Tianci, his heart full of admiration. Using the strength of the Earth Origin realm to fight against the Heaven Origin realm, with such strength, he was afraid that he could not catch up even if he tried his best. Tianci, your current strength is probably enough to fight against the Tianyuan realm. Lincoln said proudly. Even the guards of the Lin family who were doing the aftermath work, when they accidentally caught a glimpse of Lin Tianci's figure, there was a deep sigh in their eyes. At the same time, they were more grateful to Lin Tianci. If Lin Tianci hadn't been here today, these guards would have probably met with an accident. This gap is really too big. But the Lei family is such a jerk. In order to hinder the development of our Lin family, they actually came up with such a sinister plan. Lincoln changed the subject at this moment and saw the damaged land in the distance. When this matter was mentioned, the eyes of the Lin family members all darkened. They were so anxious to care about Lin Tianci's physical condition that they forgot about this for a while. The Lei family is really good at this. They have been delaying our Lin family for so long, but they want to cut off the firewood from the bottom of the pot. Lin Jintian was also furious. He looked at the land covered by the potion in front of him, his eyes full of heartache. These are all money. The other people all had gloomy faces. In addition to their anger towards the Lei family, the rest was full of heartache. The ironwood of this Taima manor, even if the production is reduced by 1 point, is a huge loss. Let's investigate and see how much of the land in Taima village has been destroyed by the Lei family. After a long time, Lin Jintian waved his hand. He was a little tired. The destruction of the land was a foregone conclusion, and it was useless even if he was angry. Hearing Lin Jintian's words, the guards of the Lin family quickly separated and rushed into the ironwood forests in the distance, and Lin Tianci also flapped his wings and headed for the depths of Taima village. The entire investigation lasted about half an hour. The guards returned to a hall in Taima manor. After hearing the guards' report, Lin Jintian and others looked even uglier. Lin Mang, Lin Xiao and others who received the news from Lin Jintian also looked gloomy. There are still some grown ironwood trees in the whole Taima manor, and the number is quite large, but the key is that the land damaged by the Lei family accounts for a large proportion. Even if these lands can be used later, the output will be greatly reduced. This Taima manor has been destroyed by the Lei family, and the future income will also drop significantly. Lin Tianci sighed, and a look of dejection appeared on his face. I'll just run this farm as normal from now on. You don't need to take too much care of it. Yes. Lincoln, Lin Xiao and others also nodded silently. Grandpa, wait a minute. Just as everyone was about to leave, Lin Tianci rushed back from the depths of Taima village and said, Lin Tianci saw that it was Lin Tianci who came back, and he forced a smile on his face and said, Tianci, it's getting late, let's get ready to go back to the Lin family, there's no need to stay in Taima village any longer. Grandpa, a blessing in disguise. Lin Tianci said, what do you mean? Lin Tianci's eyes showed a hint of astonishment. Tianci, don't talk nonsense. We have carefully calculated the income of Taima Manor. It is not as good as before. Lincoln also frowned and said at this time. Lin Xiao and others looked at each other, and then looked at Lin Tianci, wondering why Lin Tianci said this. Just now, when I was exploring the depths of Taima village, I unexpectedly felt a yang energy underground. Lin Tianci did not keep the secret either, pointing to the ground and said, if I am right, the real treasure of Taima village is under the ground. Because ironwood had been planted here before, the smell of ironwood was strong, and the place where the Yang Gang Qi was located was deep in the Taima Manor. If I hadn't walked a few more steps out of curiosity, I might have overlooked it. While the Lin family guards were investigating the damage to the soil, Lin Tianci went to the depths of the Taima Manor to find what he wanted. It was in the deepest part of the Taima Manor that Lin Tianci finally felt the smell that he had been thinking about. After a simple investigation, Lin Tianci finally confirmed it. At the end of the road, Lin Tianci also saw two black iron demon leopards of the Tianyuan realm standing tall. Lin Tianci's heart was naturally more certain. He did not disturb the two black iron demon leopards, and hurried back. What? Chapter 64. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Tianci put down the cup in his hand. The strong force made the tea in the cup splash and spill onto the table, but at this moment, Lin Tianci didn't care about the tea. He stood up directly, as if he had thought of something. His eyes were red and his voice was a little trembling. Tianci, are you sure? Well, I just spent a long time exploring there before coming here. The Yang Gang Qi there is quite strong, so I don't think there will be any mistakes. Lin Tianci nodded seriously. So, Lin Tianci's face was filled with ecstasy. So what you mean? The dejection on his face a quarter of an hour ago had completely disappeared, replaced by a strong expectation. If I'm not mistaken, it should be. Although Lin Tianci already knew the result, he still couldn't guarantee it. In that case, Tianci, lead the way. Lin Tianci suddenly slapped the table, which scared the rest of the Lin family. Then, Lin Tianci urged Lin Tianci to walk in front and go deep into Taima village. Lincoln, Lin Xiao and others looked at the backs of Lin Tianci and Lin Tianci with some confusion. When Lin Tianci spoke just now, they had their own guesses in their hearts, but they still couldn't figure out why Lin Tianci's reaction was so big. The environment containing Yang Gang Qi is only slightly special. Even if it improves the speed of cultivation, it is probably very limited. What's more, Lin Tianci's cultivation has now reached the late stage of Tianyuan realm. No matter what, he will not be excited by the mere Yang Gang Qi, because ordinary Yang Gang Qi is not so effective for him. Lin Tianci rode on Xiaoyi and ran all the way with Lin Tianci and others. What on earth are Tianci and Dad talking about? Lincoln asked as he followed Lin Tianci. I don't know. Lin Xiao was also confused at this moment. He shook his head, with doubts in his eyes. Perhaps, there is some secret treasure deep in Taima Manor. But if there was a secret security, the Lei family should have discovered it long ago. How could it be possible for us to get it? Lincoln thought for a long time, but still couldn't figure it out. Just follow them, and you'll know once you get there. Unable to figure it out, Lin Xiao simply stopped thinking about it and followed behind them. Soon, Lin Tianci slowed down. Grandpa, it's just ahead. Lin Tianci stretched out his hand to a place hidden by a dense forest, but there are two Tianyuan realm monsters, the black iron demon leopard, guarding it. If you go forward, you will inevitably be noticed by them. Two black iron demon leopards. Lin Tianci's face changed slightly, and hesitancy appeared. Dad, what on earth is there here that can make you so excited? Seeing everyone stop, Lincoln hurried over. At this moment, he finally had time to raise the doubts in his heart. You are already so old, why are you still so impatient? Lin Tianci rolled his eyes and said, just wait, you will know after a while. Lincoln couldn't help but feel a little amused when he heard this. It was obviously his father who came here in a hurry. However, he could only think about this in his mind and could not say it out loud. If it really develops as I imagined, it will be quite easy for our Lin family to rise and surpass the Lei and Xia families. Lin Tianci's words came out again, making Lincoln, Lin Xiao and others open their eyes wide. Lin Tianci took a deep breath, feeling the not-so-obvious Yang Gangqi here, and a hot look appeared in his eyes. If it is really as I imagined, let alone 2 beasts of Tianyuan realm, even if there are 3, I will find a way to kill them. Although it is obvious that the monsters are stronger than humans at the same level, but there are 4 Tianyuan realm masters standing here at the moment. In addition, Lin Tianci is a master in the late Tianyuan realm, and he can defeat a black iron demon leopard alone. You 3, come with me. Lin Tianci turned his head and looked at Lincoln and the other 2. I will deal with one by myself, and the remaining one will be left to you. Then, Lin Tianci looked at Lin Tianci. Tianci, Donger, you 2 should come with me too. It will be beneficial for you to watch the battle from the side. Lin Tianci had already had this intention, and naturally followed Lin Tianci obediently after hearing this. As soon as they stepped into the area with a relatively strong Yang Gangqi, the figures of several people were discovered by 2 black iron demon leopards. Roar. The 2 demon leopards roared, then slightly arched their backs and opened their eyes wide, waiting for Lin Tianci and others to come one step closer, and then they would launch a very fierce attack. Hurry up and make a quick decision. Don't let these 2 beasts escape. Otherwise, there will be endless troubles. Lin Tianci looked at the 2 monsters in front of him with a sharp gaze, then he rushed towards one of the leopards. His body burst out with a strong Yuanli wave, and in this Yuanli wave, there were also Yin and Yang Qi entangled in it. After discovering the Yangyuan stone vein, Grandpa's strength should not be far from the Yuandan realm. Feeling the majestic energy released by Lin Tianci, Lin Tianci was also thinking in his heart, if nothing unexpected happens, when Grandpa reaches the Yuandan realm, it will be the time for the Lei and Xia families to perish. After all, there are 4 Tianyuan realm masters in the field, so even if the black iron demon leopard's body is strong, it can't stir up any big waves. Not long after, the 2 beasts were suppressed by the 4 people. One of the demon leopards wanted to escape, but Lin Tianci poked it with a finger, but it directly poked a small hole in the demon leopard's hardest skull. Immediately, the black iron demon leopard fell straight down, almost one after the other. The other demon leopard was also besieged by Lincoln and others, and lost his life with a weak wail. Without caring about the bodies of the 2 demon beasts, Lin Tianci closed his eyes and felt something carefully. Then, he came to an open space. Where is the shovel I asked you to take just now? Dig. Lin Tianci pointed at the soil under his feet and said, looking at the ordinary soil under their feet, Lincoln and his companions were puzzled, but they still took out the shovels and dug at the ground under their feet. The speed of several people was quite fast. Not long after, they dug a pit several meters deep, but what Lin Tianci wanted to see still did not appear. Is it possible? Lin Tianci sighed, thinking that he was being too wishful. How could he get such a rare item so easily? Ding!